The road into Black Pine Forest was always quiet at night, but on the evening Nora Keller drove in, the woods felt unnaturally still, like an audience holding its breath. She was a sound engineer on assignment, hired to investigate a series of mysterious radio signals that local hikers claimed to hear in their headsets whenever they ventured too deeply into the trees. At first she dismissed the reports as interference, but the tone in her supervisor's voice when he briefed her had pulled at her curiosity. Now, with moonlight pooling across the narrow dirt road and the treetops moving without wind, she was beginning to regret her confidence. She parked at the ranger station, an aging cabin half swallowed by vines, and stepped out with her recording equipment. The air was cold enough to sting, carrying a faint metallic scent that clung to the back of her throat. Inside, the station was deserted. A single lantern flickered on the counter, left burning by someone in a hurry. On the desk lay a notebook filled with frantic handwriting. The last entry read, "If you hear the numbers, do not reply." Nora swallowed hard, uncertain whether to take the warning as superstition or genuine fear. Nora switched on her handheld receiver, letting the soft crackle of static fill the room. She walked outside, pacing the clearing, sweeping the dial for anything unusual. At first the frequency bands were empty. Then, at 2:17 a.m., the static fluttered, jittering as though struck by an unseen hand. A faint rhythm emerged, soft, repetitive clicks, like someone tapping a microphone from far away. Nora froze. The pattern wasn't random. It was counting. The clicking sequence continued steadily, 3 short taps, 1 long pause, 2 taps, another pause. Morse code. Nora scribbled the translation quickly. It spelled a single word, stay. Before she could process it, the device hissed again. The taps repeated, but now they were louder, closer, almost surrounding her. Nora spun in a slow circle, and for a brief moment she caught movement between the trees. A shape. Tall. Still. Watching. Her breath fogged in panic as she retreated toward the cabin, shutting the door and locking it behind her. She replayed the message in her mind, convincing herself she misinterpreted it. Exhaustion, she reasoned. Stress. But something deeper insisted she was being warned. She shut off the receiver, and immediately felt the quiet press in. Without the static, the silence of Black Pine became thick enough to feel, as if the forest held its own breath again, waiting for her next move. She tried to rest on the small cot in the corner, but after only a few minutes a new sound crept into the room, so faint at first she thought she imagined it. A low hum. Mechanical, droning, pulsing like a heartbeat. It vibrated through the floorboards, the walls, even the air around her. Nora sat upright, eyes wide. The hum was coming from beneath the cabin, rising like something slowly waking up. She grabbed her flashlight and stepped outside, following the vibration toward the back of the cabin where an old cellar door sagged open. The hum grew louder the closer she came, resonating through her bones. Dust puffed upward with each vibration, as though the earth itself trembled. She steadied herself, lifted the cellar door fully, and shined her light downward. The stairs descended into blackness. But the hum wasn't the only sound now, she could hear faint whispering beneath it. Dozens of voices blending together into one uneasy chorus. With every step downward, the voices grew clearer, rising and falling like radio chatter. Nora realized with horror that they were counting, whispering numbers in broken unison, overlapping like a corrupted broadcast. 2, 3, 8, 2, she reached the bottom and found not a storage cellar, but a narrow tunnel carved into the earth. The walls were covered in rusted speaker grills, dozens of them, wired together in tangled metal veins that disappeared into the soil. Her receiver crackled in her pocket. When she took it out, the device switched itself on. The static rose sharply, then a new voice cut through, distorted, strained, impossibly deep. "Do not answer them." Nora's skin prickled. The voice wasn't coming from the speakers in the tunnel. It was coming from behind her. She turned slowly, and saw a silhouette in the stairwell above, taller than any person she had ever seen, its limbs long and rigid like branches reaching for her. Panic surged through her, and she sprinted down the tunnel, deeper underground. The whispers pursued her, rising into frantic counting, overlapping into a chaotic storm of numbers. The hum intensified, shaking bits of dirt loose from the ceiling. She gasped for breath as the tunnel opened into a circular chamber where an enormous metal tower rose from the ground, an underground antenna, humming with energy. Hanging from its structure were dozens of broken radios, all flickering with pale, ghostly light. The chamber vibrated as the radios sputtered to life. A single message emerged through all of them, the same tapping code from the forest. 3 taps. Pause. 2 taps. Pause. Stay. The antenna blazed with a sudden frequency spike that rang painfully through her skull. She covered her ears and fell to her knees, but the sound seemed to pierce directly into her thoughts, bypassing anything human. Her vision blurred. Shapes flickered in the corners, pale outlines of people, their forms degrading like overexposed photographs. They stood silently, facing the antenna, their heads tilted upward. When Nora blinked, they were gone. Only the static remained. She forced herself to stand, clutching the wall for balance. She needed to get out. Whatever the signals were, they weren't meant for human minds. She turned back toward the tunnel entrance, only to see the tall figure blocking the way. Now she could make out its details, a thin, bark-like texture covering its skin, joints bending in impossible angles, a face smooth except for a small speaker grill embedded where its mouth should be. Through that grill, it whispered the numbers with the others. A cold surge of terror rooted her to the ground. The creature tilted its head, the same way an antenna swivels to catch a clearer signal. The whispering from the radios faded, replaced by a long tone, steady, rising, urgent. The creature stepped toward her, the sound intensifying with each movement. Nora backed away until she hit the base of the antenna. She had only one choice left: disrupt the signal. With shaking hands, she yanked cables from the nearest radio. Sparks snapped through the chamber, and the steady tone glitched violently. The creature let out a distorted screech, flickering like a broken projection. Nora tore at more cables, ripping them free one by one until the antenna's hum faltered. The chamber dimmed. The creature staggered, its limbs distorting before finally collapsing into splinters of shadow. Silence swept through the underground space, real silence, clean and human. Nora ran back up the tunnel, scrambling up the stairs and bursting into the cold night air. The forest felt different now, lighter, as though an oppressive pressure had lifted. She didn't stop running until she reached her car. Only when she slammed the door shut did she finally allow herself to breathe. As she sped down the dirt road, the first hints of dawn broke over the horizon. She dared to believe it was over. But halfway out of the forest, her receiver, still on the passenger seat, clicked softly. Nora glanced down. The screen lit up. A single message appeared in crisp, perfect Morse code. Not a warning this time. Not a threat. Just 2 words.